Yeah, but we're at the part, though, where Polly's roasting a marshmallow.
This is when they're having some downtime.
Yeah, that's right.
And Alvin and the Chipmunks is playing.
Yep.
Sing your song?
Which is a very apt moment in the movie, being that it's the Christmas holidays.
Yeah, exactly. Because those atheistic communist Soviets, they don't care that it's Christmas. To them, it's Christmas. To me, it's Thursday. You know.
That's right. To them, it's just Thursday, or whatever Thursday is in Russia.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got a pirated stream that I'm watching, so hopefully that will continue to be okay. I have the DVDs. It's just easy for me just to have it on my computer.
Yeah, I'm just really slow computer.
No worries.
Loading the DVD right now.
What's the policy on? I own the DVDs. I actually have bought the movies numerous times, but I'm actually illegally streaming the movie to watch for the podcast recording. You know what I mean? Is that a conundrum or no?
Well, I don't give a shit, but I'm sure technically it is illegal, but it's illegal but not unethical, if that makes sense.
Well, there you go. I like it. My whole life is one big gray area.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to scene selections here. Actually, I should just go play movie.
Yeah, if you just play the movie, I'll let you watch it. It'll only take you 20 minutes to catch up to her. On the stream itself, it is at the 52:50 mark.
Yeah, he's roasting the marshmallow.
Okay. All right.
Listening to his... I don't know what that is. Is that a Walkman or what? What the fuck is that?
It might be a radio.
But it's like they're in the middle of nowhere. That's the thing, right? Well, they have the Chipmunks playing in like Siberia.
And they don't have his comics.
No, it's
I love how his comics have become like, this is a real journey for him and his relationship with these comics.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Polly, silliness in this movie.
Yeah, well, the scene just before this one was him falling in the snow. We covered that already, but that was his when he's falling in the snow, making those sounds.
Okay, so this is before Adrian shows up.
Yeah, so I think our goal today will be to cover the sequences leading up to the 2 training montages, because we don't have to sit there dissect the training montages over and over, because people can watch that online whenever they want. We'll talk about, what he's doing, how his training's going, dissect it, but...
Because they're both putting in maximum effort.
Yeah, I think they're both trying.
Like the Russian is getting pushed by those people to his breaking point unless he's getting juiced up. But then Rock, he's doing it old school, and he's making himself uncomfortable because his isn't as cushy as like the indoor gym and stuff.
Right. Well, we'll talk about that. Okay, so you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Welcome to the... What am I called again? I always forget this. Is it Going the Distance, the Rocky Series? Yeah, see, it's my fault, because we used to call it Going the Distance, the Rocky Series podcast, but I think it's the Rocky Series podcast Going the Distance. I don't know. Either way, Rocky Series podcast. We're going the distance with this podcast. You can find us on Twitter, find us on Facebook, you name it. Today, we're recording just moments before Christmas, and I think that's really exciting because in the sequence that my guest host, Kyle, we all know Kyle, he's been here a few times before, we are going to dissect Polly roasting a marshmallow. Any thoughts on the marshmallow, Kyle? Sorry, I just dropped that on you. I didn't mean to. That was a terrible segue.
I'm wondering where he got it. Did he bring it with him?
Oh, good question.
Did they have marshmallows out there?
I don't think Russians have marshmallows.
I would doubt it, especially out there. Maybe in big city or something like that. You go to a place that has marshmallows.
But there was nothing around them.
I wouldn't put it past Paulie to pack some marshmallows.
And he's sitting there roasting that marshmallow, and he almost has a stoned face look on his face.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's, content for some reason, which is odd, because before he was complaining incessantly.
Right. So I guess the key to Paulie's happiness is a candle, a marshmallow, Alvin the Chipmunk singing Christmas songs, and a foreign cabin in a foreign land.
It does seem rather cozy in there. I'll give him that. Like, it's very rustic, but
it does look cozy. You know, if I didn't have kids, this is the kind of thing I would do. You know, go to a cabin out in the wilderness, no internet, nothing, and just roast and fireplace and food and snuggle with the wife on the couch. And I kind of like that.
Exactly.
But kids ruin everything, don't they, Kyle?
Everything. They always whine and ask you for stuff, you know.
We gotta feed them.
Anyways, clothe them, all that crap. It beats the last place Paulie stayed at, like that hotel in Los Angeles.
That's right, where he yelled at the sterno bums.
Sterno bums, yeah. So this isn't so bad after all.
Good point. This is better than that hotel. What was that hotel called again? We talked about it. Yeah, in fact, you were the guest on that episode, I think.
Yeah, that's a really well-known hotel too. I don't remember the name of it, but you see that in lots of movies.
And to Paulie's left, we've got Duke playing chess with one of the Russian handlers.
Which is so stereotypical because, like, of course, chess is a game that's very popular in Russia. A lot of the chess champions have been from Russia.
Oh, I didn't know that, actually.
And and you're going to see Duke here get a checkmate. And it's like a really kind of obvious checkmate, too.
Yeah, it's like, a pretty bad... Yeah, because you got the king. Now, his king has made it... No, that's his queen there. So his queen's all the way down the end. To the queen's right is the bishop. The king is right in front of the king is his two pawns. And he checkmates the king with
a pawn.
With a pawn. Now, I see. Sorry, that's Tony's queen. Yeah, so he checkmate this guy. How did that happen?
Wait, no, Tony's king. So it's Tony's king.
Oh, it is Tony's king.
And then the Russian guy's bishop. Then the Russian guy's king, and then he has two pawns in front of it. And this guy put his king into a corner like that. Somehow let a pawn creep up all the way over there and take it out.
I love how even in this movie, the Russian can't win the chess game. It has to be the American.
I know, exactly. They're all idiots. This guy probably did something stupid, and this is why he's on this assignment. It's like, okay, you're going to Siberia to watch this guy train.
Maybe it's circumstance. I don't know. It's a 50-50 chance. But of course, Duke, he's playing the black pieces and the Russians playing the white.
It is just a coincidence that a black player is playing a white player on the most celebrated day in the country's history, right?
Like, if this movie was filmed today, that they would have purposely made sure the black guy had the white pieces.
Yeah, exactly. But the black guy did win, though. So
he did win. Checkmate, my friend.
It's more because he's American than he's black, though.
The setup, though, it's interesting because we get this feeling of there's some sort of community within this, within the time that Rocky's been here, that they've made Paulie's not complaining anymore. So time probably has passed since his initial time off the plane. Paulie's made a home out of it. He's made his own little setup. He's listening to the radio, trying to feel the Christmas spirit in Russia. Tony's relaxed, talking to the Russian handlers, playing games with them. He even says, "Checkmate, my friend."
Checkmate, friend.
And then the next sequence is we see Tony look upstairs. He's looking upstairs, and he's like, "I better go talk to Rocky here."
Yeah, and just spoil a little bit. Tony literally does nothing the whole training sequence. Well, next to nothing. He holds a pad up that Rocky punches a few times, but Rocky basically just does his own thing. And even Tony is going to say that in just a second. You're basically going to do everything by yourself up here.
Yeah, so Tony's presence up here, it is kind of interesting that what is he doing? Well, he's probably helping with the equipment, probably.
Well, yeah, there's hardly any equipment, but Paulie and Tony will help out here and there a little bit, but I think they're there for moral support.
Fair enough. I think moral support's the answer.
They're there to show that we believe in you, we're here for you, we're all in this together. Like, Tony obviously has an interest because Apollo, who he said was like a son to him, was killed, and
right.
Obviously he wants Rocky to win this thing, but...
We cut now to the scene where Rocky's obsessed with putting photos up on the mirror.
On mirrors.
Yeah. Bless his heart. But you know what? That's, to be fair, he doesn't have an iPhone to carry around with him or Facebook. So he's putting up right now a picture of his son on the mirror, and it looks like it's the same child actor that is actually playing his son in this film.
Well, if it wasn't, I'd have a freak out because it's pretty lazy filmmaking if you don't make it the same person.
You would think so. The Rocky franchise is never known to have any kind of lazy filmmaking in it.
No, never. They are very astute with the details. I was going to say the newspaper clipping of Drago.
Yeah, he's got the Drago newspaper clipping. Is this a reminder of who he's fighting? Or
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like to keep his goal in mind. Like he's putting up what's important to him. Like, in just a couple seconds later, you see Adrian is actually on top of Drago. I don't know if you remember from Rocky 2, before the fight at the end, Apollo had a newspaper clipping of Rocky up on the mirror.
Oh, yeah.
Before the fight, he takes it and he crumples it up.
Yep. So maybe time hasn't really passed because he's probably just making himself comfortable in the room. It's hard to say with these films how much time passed between scenes. They don't do a good job with the timeline in the Rocky films in general. Simple editing would make it a little bit more viewer friendly, but if truly they're just settling in for the first night, like I can't imagine Tony's already playing chess with this Russian guy, and Paulie's already calmed down since he's getting out of the plane. But that's what we're led to believe.
I just thought of something. I don't know if that guy playing chess was the KGB guy.
Oh, right. I think he was the dude with the kid that was chopping wood.
Yeah, he lives there.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, yeah.
He was chopping wood, yeah. I think he was voluntold to have Rocky and those people stay in his house.
Oh, yeah. It was like, do this or you're killed.
Yeah, exactly.
I love Sly. His build is, he's so, he's short, right? And he's so stacked. Yeah. Such big barrel chest, big arms. And he's wearing this undergarment type shirt. What would you call it? Long john type shirt. And it's just skin tight. Just skin tight.
Yeah, no coincidence there. They really want to show his build.
Yeah.
Hey, champ. Can I come up?
Yeah, sure.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
Some kind of weather we having up here, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
A little bit of small talk at the beginning here. Tony asks if he can come up, and Rocky says, of course, sure. Tony asks Rocky, how you doing? And Rocky's like, no, doing good, doing fine. And Tony then says, it's some rough weather we're having out, So real small talk just before we get into the meat of this meeting that Tony wants to give Rocky. That moral support you're talking about.
Yeah.
But for what you got to do, it's good. Toughen you up.
I guess so.
Oh, he says here that this is a good place to train because it'll toughen him up, and he gives him a little punch to the chest there, and they have a little chuckle there.
Yeah, which is funny because he has that skin tight thing. He looks pretty built, but I guess that's not synonymous with toughness either.
No, but having muscles is an indication of some sort of strength. I know what you mean by toughness. Like, you can be strong, but you could be
have a low pain tolerance.
Yeah, sure.
Which Rocky doesn't have, all right? Rocky obviously has a very high pain tolerance.
Well, that's the whole training regime in this thing. No pain. No pain.
Yeah, that there is the entirety of the direction that he gave Rocky other than hit the guy in the middle.
Yeah. Which will be the next episode, will be hit the guy in the middle.
I know you're going to have to do almost everything alone up here. But I'll be with you.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so you're right. So Tony says, I know you're going to have to do pretty much everything alone up here, but I'm going to be right there with you. And Rocky kind of looks forlorn here with that statement. Now, why was this what Rocky intended? Is this he wanted to train alone? He just wants to be alone? What's your feelings on this?
This is a big departure from previous Rocky movies because before, Rocky really needed, especially Adrian in his corner, and needed a lot of support and guidance and direction in order to train effectively.
Right.
And here, right before this, he got in a huge fight with Adrian. She made it very clear that she didn't believe he could win.
Yep.
She made it very clear that she disapproved of this fight. He goes anyways.
Right.
He's determined to do his own thing here. He's the one who picked this location. Like, Apollo's the one that picked the location last time, right? Like, Rocky was kind of doing what Apollo wanted him to do, and he still had to get his head in the right place to train right.
Right.
But here, he's just his own man here. You can kind of see he's matured as a person and as a character here, and still think he needs some moral support. But yeah, I think he kind of designed to do everything himself.
Okay.
And kind of a line from, this is from Rocky Balboa movie, but it kind of shows Tony's mindset. When Tony's about to train him again in Rocky Balboa all those years later.
Right.
He says to him, you know everything there is to know about fighting.
Right. Right.
Tony obviously he always has had a lot of respect for Rocky anyways.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's the idea that Tony's always had this true respect for Rocky. Of course, even at the very beginning of Rocky 1 where he's punching the meat, and Tony was the only one from Apollo's camp was like, hey, you got to take a look at this guy. This is a real boxer we're pulling out of a hat here.
Yeah. Or like when it's like, like, don't let up on this man. He's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Paul's like, I'm dangerous. Yeah, Tony knows Rocky can do it. I think he believes in Rocky more than Rocky believes in himself at this point. I think that's why Rocky's looking kind of forlorn. Because I think he's almost doing this out of obligation. Like, I'm not convinced Rocky thinks he can actually win at this point.
No, he's got a missing piece. We'll get to that later. All right, let's continue with the conversation here.
Apollo was like my son. I raised him.
Here's a key moment here. Tony says, Apollo was like my son. I raised him. Do we gloss over this issue? Did Tony truly raise Apollo? And from what age and from what background?
Well, we don't know. We don't know anything about their relationship other than he was Apollo's trainer. My guess would be that he's older. Tony's a little older.
Yeah.
And he trained Apollo ever since he was a young man. We don't know if Apollo ever had a father figure or not. Actually, I think he did. I think you see his parents at the funeral, now that I think about it.
Well, there was there was an older black couple there that could have very well been his parents. Yeah, but he says he raised them, though, so who knows?
He could mean that in a lot of ways, right? Like, if they've spent most of their lives together. Apollo was born in 1942, and so that would make him 43 when he died.
Right.
And if Tony was with him since the beginning of his pro career, that's like over 20 years. Yeah, he probably raised him up in that I could see Rocky saying something similar about Mick, in a way. Especially if Mick had trained him earlier.
Okay.
Who knows?
Yeah, I like that.
I don't know.
And when he died, part of me died. But now, you're the one. You're the one that's going to keep his spirit alive. You're the one that's going to make sure that he didn't die for nothing.
So, of course, he says, when Apollo died, a part of me died with him. That goes without saying. And then he tells Rocky that you're the one to make sure that he doesn't die for nothing. That's a lot to put on Rocky's shoulders here.
Yeah, and I actually don't really understand what that means.
Yeah, I was waiting for. I didn't want to lead the witness. I was going to wait to see what you had to say about that. Yeah, what does that mean? Anyways, didn't die for nothing. Like, he is dead. He died in a sporting event. He didn't die in the field of battle.
Okay, if you look at this from the perspective of this is America versus the USSR, they've often fought each other through sports, and that somehow if you beat them in sports, then you're a superior country.
Yeah.
So I think it's stupid, but people do kind of think that way. I guess Apollo trying to show America's superiority would have been for nothing if he got killed and then it went unanswered.
Yeah.
Like if Drago went back to the USSR and Rocky wouldn't fight him, then doors kind of closed on that. But to me, that's kind of almost shallow. Like, even if you do beat Drago, what does that really... It doesn't really do anything, and Apollo's still dead. So, actually, even Adrian said that earlier.
That's right. She says, even if you beat him, what have you accomplished? Apollo's still dead. She brings it up earlier, absolutely.
Yeah, I think this is, for lack of a better word, kind of like a macho type of mentality.
Yep.
I'm a man, and we just got challenged, and you beat my friend, and so to protect their honor or whatever, I have to beat you. And I think a lot of women wouldn't think that way.
It's a very male way of thinking, yeah. I can't let him get the last laugh or last punch in, or where women are peacemakers. They just want peace.
Yeah, and then also, like, it came up in Creed, the Creed movies.
Yep.
But, like, in Creed 2 especially, where Rocky said, I was supposed to be in there, which I think is... He could think that's fine, but I don't agree, because Apollo had to talk him into going in there, right?
Right.
It's not like Rocky chickened out and then Apollo had to go in and do it for him. Like, Apollo more or less manipulated him into it, right? So,
right.
Whatever. But regardless of how logical it is, that's how he feels emotionally, and that's all that matters.
You're going to have to go through hell. Worse than any nightmare that you ever dreamed. But in the end, I know you'll be the one standing.
That's right.
So Tony says you're going to have to go through a nightmare worse than you've ever imagined to beat this guy, to train to beat this guy, but I know you'll be the one standing. Now, what does Rocky say here? Does he say that's right or I'll try?
Hey, you there?
Yeah, no worries.
I was talking into the iPhone for an embarrassingly long amount of time before I realized you weren't.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Did you hear my question?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
What was your
okay.
question?
Just the question was, Duke says to Rocky, like, you're going to have to go through hell to beat this guy. You're going to be the one standing at the end, though. My question was, what did Rocky say after that? Does he say, I'll try?
He said, I'll try.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
The closed caption says he'll try.
Okay. And then it's kind of a weak response, though, after that big...
Well, it is. And that reflects his mindset.
Yeah, good point.
I was explaining this to no one just a few minutes ago. But I think that him just being in Russia, things just got real for him. He committed to doing the fight before, but now that he's here and he's in this this foreign environment, everything changed. Harsh landscape, harsh people, at least the KGB people. I think it kind of collapses in on him, and in his mind, he's probably thinking, like, Apollo was a worthy adversary for him, and this adversary was murdered within 2 rounds, right?
Right.
I don't think he took this fight because he thought he was going to win.
Hey, is Rocky feeling suicidal here? Does he want to die a warrior too? What's going on here?
Yeah, I don't know. He probably thinks to himself he can't live with this going unanswered. Like, this would bother him for the rest of his life. Which is probably how Apollo felt after his first fight with Rocky. He could have just moved on, right?
Yeah, right.
But he knew it would bother him.
Right.
And he'd have to go through with that second fight. And Rocky's probably feeling kind of the same thing.
All right, so they give each other a little bit of an embrace, a hug here, and Rocky repeats again, I'll try.
Yeah.
Tony puts his head down on Rocky's shoulder a little bit there. It's a little bit intimate, a bit of an intimate hug there. I just caught that. It's like he really kind of snuggled into Rocky's neck there. Maybe this turns into Brokeback Mountain or something.
Yeah. I said what happens in Siberia stays in Siberia.
Yeah, or dies there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what you gotta do. Do it. Do it.
And then Tony says, you know what you gotta do. Do it. Do it.
Oh, by the way, this place they're in is really, I believe, in Wyoming.
That's affirmative. It isn't a Wyoming. He tells Rocky, do it. Do it. And then you hear the musical cue kick in. I love that musical cue of when the camera cuts to Drago in the mirror and you hear that Vince DiCola score coming again, that Drago theme. Like, I love that theme for the Drago. So good. We got some thaw on the icicles. He's wearing his aviator jacket. Yep.
Yeah. Which is like, I was going to say it's Canadians, but you live in a much warmer part than me. You would not really wear that jacket.
Pacific Northwest. Now, let's talk about his outfit here. He's wearing the skin-tight type jeans. I assume he's almost wearing jeans. He's got a toque on, and for our non-Canadian listeners, a toque is a snow cap, wool cap.
Yeah, he's wearing a beanie. He has the aviator jacket on. Now, his beanie doesn't cover his ears. It can get my 30 or 40 below here. And I'll tell you, you would not wear anything like this if you're going outside to jog in the snow. But maybe Rocky doesn't know better, right? And it's not like the Russians are there to help him.
Right.
Perhaps that's part of the toughening up process, is he has to work out inadequately dressed.
I love how we see some of the Russian population watching Rocky run, because he always has to have an audience watching him run, whether it's kids or people in Italian alley.
And they're incredibly primitive too, right?
Of course they are.
Or they could be right out of the 19th century.
Oh, actually, let's go back here. So we're seeing a bit of a setup here. There's the father with the axe ready to chop more wood. I guess all he does is chop more wood. So we see Rocky running in the snow. The Russian handlers are going to follow him. And I just want to talk about the Drago machine once I get to it. I had to go back for a second here. We see the horse and carriage.
I don't know what those KGB guys are supposed to really do.
I don't know. They're just.
What does Rocky got to? You guys gather intelligence on the wood chopping industries of the Soviet Union?
Maybe just to see what his training regime is. Maybe they report to the Drago camp. We know how Rocky's training. Who knows?
Oh,
so now
that's true.
we get to Drago's machine. I just wanted to pause it here real quick to read the the red dials that come up and everything.
Let me get there for a second.
Yeah, it's a minute 5:06 exactly.
Okay. Hold on here. I've rewound too much. Okay. Very, very interesting readings on here.
Yeah, we got monitor, retrace, impulse, calibrate, detector, encoder, transmit, and I can't read the last one. Receive. Thank you.
Okay,
there you go.
Now
So
the first glaring error here is it's in English.
Right. Well, it could have been American-made equipment.
No, because pardon the bluntness there.
No, please.
When you saw the equipment when Drago did the punch test,
right.
all of the feedback, the output was in Russian, except for the fact they did pounds of pressure per square inch.
Right.
Because that's not metric.
That's right.
All the text output was in Russian, which is probably just gibberish. Just as an aside, Ryan, I still have that Russian-speaking guy we can do an episode with.
I know, we will. I got so much things in the queue. My wife's going to kill me. But yes, we have to get him on.
Anyways, that's the first thing, was it's not in Russian. And the other one is, a lot of this doesn't make any sense anyways.
I know, I don't know what the impulse, whatever.
And they have these symbols up there, which is kind of... This might be an actual piece of equipment for something else.
I love the little sliding opening door when it pans down. You got these two, almost looks like a flux capacitor, Star Trek, engine.
Exactly. You got to make sure the flux capacitor is flexing.
It's like, does anyone have any extra dilithium crystals? We need to put them in Drago's training equipment. Oh my gosh.
And then you see a monitor where it's in Russian, so good job there, filmmakers. I like to say, too, this is the first training montage in the Rocky series where they do side-by-side training that I can remember.
They did a little bit between Clubber and Rocky. They did it between Rocky's failed.
Actually, you're right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. When he sort of trained her.
Sort of training. Yeah. Because they're showing.
There.
No, that's okay. They're showing that Clubber's really training hard and street, toughness training, and Rocky's pansy-nancy training, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So we got the shot here of Drago on the Stairmaster thing, pumping his legs up down with a big, huge spotlight on him from behind. I'm not too sure what that spotlight's for, other than visual effect for the audience, but...
And then the scientists, they have a lot of people watching him train.
He truly is a specimen for the Russian government, because he's being, monitored and studied by these scientists. They're comparing notes and they're saying, look, he's doing legs now. Amazing.
They're probably supposed to be monitoring all his vital signs and trying to calculate, what percentage is he maxing out cardio system or whatever.
Right.
They're probably monitoring and tracking his progress. I just find it funny that there's that many of them there.
I don't know what they're getting paid, but they're employed.
Since it's under communism, it's theoretically they get paid the same.
Yeah, that's true.
Who knows? Maybe they get extra state perks or something.
Yeah, the janitors getting paid the same amount as the scientists. Now, Rocky's running through the sno, so that's the juxtaposition here. So, Drago's on the machine, showing the resistance machine, and Rocky's running in the snow. And you could argue both the calibration on the machine is tough. You could argue that the machine could be harder than what Rocky's doing. Because you could...
snow does suck, though.
Of course it sucks, but
yeah.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here, that we're led to believe that training in nature is supposed to be more hard, but you can calibrate the machines to make it near impossible to move.
Yeah, and, I think what they're trying to show is Rocky's in this brutal environment. And so not only is he exercising and becoming stronger, but also the toughness of being in the cold, working outdoors, and being physically uncomfortable above and beyond just the strain.
He's running through water. That's got to suck for his feet, man. He's running through this little river or stream.
Waterproof boots. In reality, Rocky would have got frostbite, and the fight would have had to been postponed. like the tip of his nose would be black, and his ears would be all screwed up, and
right.
But whatever.
So then they show Drago running around the track. I'm counting here. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people in this one scene watching him jog around the track.
Well, you could say for sure jogging on the track is much easier.
Oh, yeah. And then we cut to the Russian handlers watching Rocky run on this stream, making it hard for the guys in the car to follow him. I think it's... So Rocky's kind of saying F you to the Russian handler, saying, I'm going to run down the stream, have fun following me.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to gather some intelligence on your streams and mountains.
Drago's leg is now strapped down on this leg curling press machine.
Yeah, he's doing the,
Say that again?
Hey, you there?
Yep.
Okay, I believe we left off at Drago's strap-on.
Yeah, so Drago's leg is strapped on, yes. To the tail.
Basically the leg extensions you do at the gym.
Yeah, that's what he's doing there. And now we cut to the scene with the horse and the guy who had the horse and carriage in the snow that Rocky passed by earlier at the start of his run. It looks like he's having some trouble with his horse. It looks like his horse is going to fall over in the snow here.
Yeah, and Rocky, he does his own weightlifting and also helping humanity at the same time. He is winning over the Soviet people. He's rewriting their misconceptions about the evil, greedy Americans.
Yeah, he helps the guy lift the carriage out of the snow. And then we keep cutting back to now Drago with this some sort of resistance arm training. His arm is, again, another strap on. His arm is strapped on down. He can't lift it up as he kind of does these backwards side arm curls. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
And Lamilla's to his left, with a stopwatch or timer, and his trainers are behind him, watching with admiration with the big Russian flag in the background. Now we've got Drago with this kind of like an arm rowing machine type machine.
Yeah, they have those at the gym now.
Or they do.
Yeah, I remember when I saw that a few years ago. I was like, hey, it's like Rocky movies. They finally... They've already had them all along, but I haven't seen them in gyms until fairly recently.
We can't have a training sequence without Rocky on the speed bag.
Yeah, so he does some traditional training.
Yep. Now he's sawing logs out. The weather's getting kind of rough out there, but
cold.
Yeah.
He's suffering.
Oh, he is suffering.
I think this is supposed to be the point. Is that Drago is not really suffering like Rocky is, even though they're both working hard.
I thought it was interesting. There's a black Russian trainer. I found that interesting. I didn't know there was any black people in Russia. I thought it's like literally all white country, but I could be wrong. I know there's like the...
Picking up demographic info right now, by the way.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is it's progressive because if you think about it, this was filmed in 84, 85. That's what I always love about the Rocky films. They've played equal parts to black people where films weren't doing that back then. They barely do it now, quite frankly. That you have a main antagonist who is black. You've got trainers that are black. You got the Creed franchise. Like, you got to give Stallone credit.
If you would have had other ethnicities in Russia, you would likely have people of Asian descent from like Eastern Russia, like Syria.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at.
Or more Middle Eastern type of descent from like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, which would have been part of the Soviet Union at the time. But yeah, probably Africans don't have a big representation in the former Soviet Union or Russia.
And they don't. And you can only imagine that this guy actually made the training team of their biggest athlete in the country. So bravo Zulu to him.
Bravo.
Okay, so now we got Rocky pulling on a sled. This rope is wrapped around his shoulders. That's got to hurt. And he's like on all fours, and he's just, the resistance on this, that's legit tough. And he's just like in pain and struggling.
Yeah, and he's trying to do it on the snow and slippery, and then the wind is blowing in his face. And
I was just saying, that's all natural weather.
Natural snow.
Because this filmed in Wyoming.
So.
Well, it's filmed in Wyoming. Yeah. I think it would have been too expensive to bring in real like snow machines, all this stuff. Like it's a real tundra out there. It's not that hard to find one in the right time of year, I guess. And they probably had all types of weather go through there while they're up there, and they used it when they could. We're indoors, and Rocky's doing the pull-ups forward and backwards. He's looking pretty good here. He's got a fire next to him, sweating good. Tony and Paulie are watching admirably.
Yeah, he seems to do the outdoor stuff during the day, and then the evening comes into the barn to hit the speed bag, pull-ups or sit-ups or whatever.
Right. And Rocky's got the log on his shoulders outside again, resistance, walking through deep snow, the big log on his shoulders, kind of reminiscent of Rocky 2 when he had the log on his shoulders doing the squats.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I was just thinking, too, Rocky's actually putting himself at a fair amount of risk, I think. Because it's like, there's probably like wolves and bears and all sorts of... I'm probably not thinking about that.
And Drago's now boxing with sparring partners, and Rocky is just shadow boxing, literally in the shadows boxing.
Paulie said that when they first got there. He's like, no sparring.
No sparring. I don't think I need it anymore, Paul. No sparring.
Yeah, and Rocky says,
I don't think I need that anymore.
That's right.
Which is silly. Like, sparring's a huge part of training for a fight. Like,
it is weird. It's this weird thing that Rocky's deciding for himself that he's just going to, like, he's literally training alone, that he's not even having sparring partners. And now he's chopping down a Christmas tree or something. Pretty obvious metaphor here. Drago's chopping down men one at a time and his sparring partners, and Rocky's chopping down trees in the woods.
The commentary in the fight, when they fight, one of them says, like, Rocky's chopping the Russian down.
Yeah, there you go.
This is foreshadowing for that.
Well, yeah, the training montage is always a pretty obvious foreshadow to how the training that he does will, be beneficial to the fight that's upcoming. Yeah, Drago's running around in the big gymnasium by himself, no one around, so just showing that he's doing extra training on his own without an audience of his handlers, and then Rocky, of course, alone, running through the tundra. Rocky now has a beard when the KGB guys are following him. Yeah, so they're showing this training montage is not all in one day. This is a daily, and day after day, Rocky is doing this kind of training to the point now that he has a pretty good beard coming in, which was probably at least 2 weeks old. At least, yeah. So he comes back from a run and looking tired and looking sexy in his outfit. And lo and behold, we got Adrian wearing 70 sweaters and 3 jackets waiting for him at the lodge. What did you have on? About 20 sweaters? I know, 3. Okay. And she's wearing these like space white boots. They're probably really expensive. Oh, probably. She says, I couldn't stay away anymore. I missed you. And then Rocky says, I missed you.
I couldn't stay away anymore. I missed you.
I missed you.
And she's like, I'm with you no matter what. And then he repeats, no matter what.
I'm with you no matter what.
No matter what.
Which I love because it's almost like Rocky's learning how to speak again. Like he's a castaway from Tom Hanks' Castaway on an Island. We're led to believe that he's so one with the wilderness. He's turned into Tarzan. And he's, me, Rocky, repeating back everything my wife said to me. So Rocky just learned something here that with enough time, Adrian will cave. She did it in the second movie. Now, it took her to be in a coma to do it, mind you. And now this one, I think when she realizes if he's serious enough about it, she will eventually get on board. Let's be honest, if she died in that coma, Rocky would have been champion without any opposition for many years. Well, yeah, except without her, he wouldn't have been talked into fighting Clubber again, like the beach scene. Yeah, but I think. Yeah, it's a discussion for another day if Rocky would have ever found out these guys were ever handpicked or not. But because don't forget, he only got mad at Clubber when he said, hey, woman! Hey, woman! If there was no woman there, yeah. If there was no Adrian there for him to taunt, it would have just been... Oh, Clubber would have said something else. Hey, old man! Anyway. Hey, old man! Yeah. When you come over to my training group, I'll show you a real fighter. Yeah. You say like something anti-Semitic or something to Mick or something. Oh, jeez. And then she repeats, no matter what, again.
No matter what.
They walk towards each other. Hug. A very awkward hug. Because they're both wearing about 50 layers of clothes, and they kiss. And apparently that Stallone beard there is a fake beard. It's makeup. Is it really? Yeah, it's not a real beard. So now that we have Adrian's support, you know what this means, Kyle. It means we have another training montage. We have to. And this is the Hearts on Fire one. Now this is like the more upbeat training song, Hearts on Fire. He's skipping rope, and the rope is going 100 miles an hour. It's a great sequence, great shot. It's the equivalent of Rocky 2 when she says win, and we see him doing the one-arm push-up. This is the same thing here. Yeah, like he wasn't training bad before. No, he was training hard, but now he's got his heart. Now he's taking it to the next level. Well, just like the song says, Hearts on Fire. His heart's on fire now, right? And he does that wicked moment where he lifts himself up really slowly with his stomach muscles, and he's like hanging in midair, like those upside down sit-ups. It's pretty insane, man. Like that's Stallone doing that, regardless of what you know what I mean. At the end of the day, that's there's no wire work or anything. That's Sly doing that.
Sorry, Ryan, I missed that last part. My wife was... Yeah.
Oh, no worries. I was just referring to the upside down sit-ups when he's holding himself midair. That's pretty awesome.
Super easy. Anyone can do those.
Oh, yeah. You send me the video of you doing that. I'll literally put a needle in my eye.
I sent it, but it must just not have got through.
So Rocky's beard is getting bigger and longer. He's doing speed bag with... So we got Rocky here. His beard's getting longer. Speed bag though, he's still speed bagging. Now he's lifting up rocks. You know, everything's kind of like natural. You know, there's no equipment. Everything he's doing doesn't involve electricity. Is kind of what we're getting at here. And then we keep juxtaposing, going back to Drago's training with the machines and Paulie and Tony basically just watch Stallone or Rocky be sexy with his leg lifts and his ab curls, and Adrian looks on.
Yeah, and Adrian's checking out his butt.
Yeah, oh yeah. Do you think that's Adrian looking at Rocky or Talia Shire looking at Stallone?
Both.
Sure.
Probably both, yeah.
So we got the scene here too with Rocky going up and down underneath the rope, right? Doing those deking below the rope, and that was shown in Creed 1 with the rope. Was it not?
Yeah.
Oh no, it was shown in Southpaw.
And Rocky 5.
And the movie Southpaw.
Didn't? Yeah.
Do you ever see that movie Southpaw?
No.
Oh, they did. They actually did that in the movie Southpaw. The trainer made the fighter Jake Gyllenhaal's character do the rope thing in the ring. So I guess it's a real boxy thing. Yeah. Now Rocky's
Rocky 5 when he has the vision. Is he doing that too?
I don't remember.
Okay.
So now we see Drago lifting up that big, huge, heavy weight. And Labilla claps and looks at her husband lovingly like, oh, my husband's so strong, so powerful. And Rocky does the same thing with that kind of wagon cart. He lifts up, 4 people in it, and I assume they're heavy. Same type of weight. We're led to believe it's probably heavier than what Drago did. And Rocky runs off the road. We all know the sequence so well. Anyone listening to the show knows exactly the part we're talking about. He runs off the road, runs up the hill. The Russian handlers can't chase after him. There's no way. He runs higher and higher into the mountain as Drago runs, up his little, what do you call it, treadmill? Running treadmill.
Yeah.
And they increase the incline to represent the incline that Rocky's doing on the mountain. And I love how the editing is done here. We're led to believe that they're doing the same exercise at the same time. That Drago's machine's going...
Who says they weren't?
Sure. Yeah, who says they weren't? And Drago reaches a point where he just can't do it anymore. And we're led to believe that Rocky is still going higher and higher and higher. This is great editing, and the music's swell. This is all good stuff. You know the scene I'm talking about. Everyone knows it that's listening. Kudos to Sly with his helicopter shot of himself going up this mountain, getting to the top of this edge. Puts his arms up in the air, a la the stairs in Philadelphia, but now the mountains of Wyoming / Russia, yelling, Drago. That's a great ending to the train sequence. Classic scene. And the helicopter shot is great because there's no CGI here. There's no CGI. It's a helicopter shot, so they timed it as such that, Rocky or Stallone is at the top of this mountain. They got this helicopter whipping around the mountain. And it's a good little peak there. It doesn't look that safe.
Yeah, Stallone's he's a real man.
He's a real man. He's a real man.
Takes the risks.
Well, is there any final thoughts on these 2 train montages before we close the show?
I think it's pretty clear. Drago is on the juice, and
oh yeah, we missed that. Yeah, we forgot to mention that they did show a needle full of what we can only be led to believe anabolic steroids, and then having that same needle be shoved into Drago's arm there. So not only is Rocky training on his own, but he's up against basically a cheater in the ring coming up, in the fight coming up. So it just shows you the odds are continually stacked against our hero, Rocky.
Yeah. Rocky's main fighting strategy, for the most part, is to allow his opponents to punch themselves out and without blocking them. And so basically take a tremendous beating and then have some left in the tank to knock them out at the end. Like, he's never won on points ever.
No, he doesn't win on
Drago
points.
Obviously, has got to outfight him, but he's preparing himself to endure hardship for a long period of time.
Which is a theme that was in Creed 2. The same idea that Rocky's at the point now, and same with Adonis, that they're already good boxers, but now they've got to train against their opponent who can... Rocky knows that he's going to have to go through hell, so he's put his body through hell. He's put his body through every kind of condition that he can think of that he will face this Russian giant in the ring. So stand by for a future episode, listeners, dear listeners, as we will cover the final fight between Drago and Rocky. Who will win? We don't know.
I think Drago's going to do it.
I think Drago's going to win? Well, he's the favorite.
Yeah.
He's the Russian odds favorite. Yeah. Just want to do a little bit of housekeeping here. So just thanks for listening, everybody, to the show. Remember to leave us a review on iTunes or on our Facebook page. And also, a reminder that we have our 100th episode coming up. I think this will be episode 96, I think. So we're getting there. And send us an email to GTDWITHRR. That's GTDWITHRR@gmail.com. And talk to me and Ruben and let us know what you like about the show and what you hope we do for the next 100 episodes and all that good stuff, and what Rocky's meant in your life. If you've ever met Stallone or anything like that, Ruben and I are going to do a live reading of those emails, and we've gotten a handful, so we're getting enough to do an episode already, but we want to hear from more of you. Yeah, we love the reviews. We've been getting those emails. It's been fun to read. We look forward to reading them on there. Find us on Twitter if you want, or find us on Facebook to leave us that message as well. And Kyle, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you, as always, guest hosting when my brother Ruben can't be here due to the holidays and our work schedules. It seems like it's getting harder and harder lately for us to correlate time, so we're getting more and more guest hosts on. But thanks for coming on, brother. I do appreciate it.
You're most welcome. My pleasure.
And enjoy the holidays, my friend.
You too. Have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you and to all. Have an Alvin Chipmunk's Christmas to all. Ding, ding.
Thank you.